Good evening, everybody. This is Skyla Mann, and I am happy to welcome you to Thursday Night Live. Tonight is the last day of August, and we are coming together tonight to talk a little bit about the benefits of cross-line support and why it's so important to link arms with people that may not be directly above or below you. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get started. So I have outlined what I think are 6 of the top reasons that you might want to consider linking arms with some cross-line friends. So let's just make sure that we're all on the same page here to begin with. Cross-line, of course, means someone that is not directly above or below you and will in no way benefit financially from any decisions that you make in your business. When I started building, which, believe it or not, you guys, tonight is my 5-year anniversary of when I began, when I had the big aha moment, let's say. So it was August 31st of 2012 when Sonia invited me to come to her house to listen to her share a little bit about what the business of Young Living could look like. And many of you that have heard my testimony probably know, that was in August. I spent September and October kind of researching and planning what I was going to do as far as building a business. And then in November of 2012 is when I launched and began teaching classes in earnest as often as I could. And one of the things that I have shared over and over that really attributed to my success and to the success of a lot of us in this area was that we did not do it alone. I linked arms with my cross-line sisters, and they include Britta Dimmler, who is a diamond, and Heather Osterheis, who is a platinum, and Bobby Shaben, who is a gold. And of course, Sonia, who is all of our upline, was absolutely in on that as well and teaching often and right alongside of us. But we taught a lot of classes, shared a lot of responsibilities, talked to each other's teams, and at the time, because that was all that I knew, I didn't really think anything of it. I kind of just thought, well, this is how you do it. This is the most efficient way to build. And what I've come to realize later is that not everyone has that opportunity in a place that's obvious to see, or they don't think about why they would want to join forces with somebody that isn't on their team. So the first reason that I think it's really beneficial to link arms with cross-line friends is because iron sharpens iron. And you can generate so much excitement and so much activity. You can generate so many new ideas by bouncing ideas off one another. And there's a freedom that comes. It happens to me every single time when I get together with cross-line friends or just talking, on the phone or on Facebook or whatever with friends that are completely, not in our organization. I can brainstorm more freely knowing that my idea isn't going to be filtered through someone who is either going to be above me and has earning potential, or someone who is going to be impacted by the idea and is on our team. So, for example, I'm looking at several team members here. I'll pick on Jennifer since I see her. If I share an idea that I'm brainstorming with Jennifer that is going to directly impact something that I'm going to implement on our team, Jennifer might very well say, Skyla, I think that's a crazy idea. I'm not excited about that at all. In fact, I think that just stinks. And it might, and that might be valuable feedback, but it also might be that just doesn't resonate with Jennifer, whatever the crazy idea might be, and she's not excited about that. So you can see that if you take your brainstorming all the time, and I'm not suggesting that we never brainstorm with our team, because I certainly do that too, but if we did that always, we might limit our ideas because the people that we're sharing with are directly impacted. Okay, so one plus for cross-line relationships is that you can generate new ideas completely unencumbered by anybody's opinion. The second thing, this is huge, accountability. So there's a whole nother level of trust and honesty and openness that comes when you're dealing with cross-line friends. And if you can find a good buddy or two that are cross-line from you, the accountability factor is absolutely huge. So if you say, listen, friend, I want you to help hold me accountable. I said I wanted to teach one class a week, and I just want you to check in with me, every Sunday night and ask me how it went, or ask me about my calendar. If your upline is your accountability partner and you ask them to check in with you, when they call, it might feel like they're reprimanding you because they want to know, hey, did you teach that class you said you were going to teach? It may not sound like the same accountability as a friend that has no financial connection, okay? So accountability is absolutely huge for all of us, and it might be for your water intake that you said you wanted to do every day. It might be for exercise. Maybe it's for budgeting. But find those people who will hold you to your word and help you stay on track for whatever goals you have set for yourself. Find those people that you really love and you really trust, and I guarantee you that will make a huge, huge impact on your life and on your business. All right, the third reason that cross-line accountability and cross-line relationships are so valuable is the magic of edification. Okay, you have no doubt heard us talk about how important it is to edify lots of people in life, but this one is absolutely huge. So this is kind of a double bonus. When your team hears you edifying someone that is cross-line, they suddenly look at you like, wow, you're really a professional. You're talking very, very highly of this person who you're not even associated with. That makes me think more of you. Okay, so that's one part. The other part is when other cross-line teams welcome you, maybe to come and speak, maybe to share ideas. I've had a ton of cross-line friends that have spoken here on Thursday Night Live, and I absolutely love to be able to welcome them into our group. And I know that this is a cross-line group here, which is awesome. But when others edify you, your own team also realizes what a gem they actually have. And I think that is important, because isn't it always the case that whatever becomes familiar and common to us, we tend to take it for granted. So if you go speak, I'll pick on Janice here for a moment because I'm looking at her. If Janice goes and shares a class with a Crossline group, and that group just goes nuts and they realize what a gem Janice truly is and what a huge heart she has, and they might, throw up a couple of posts on Facebook and really express their gratitude. There may be some people that are in Janice's downline that go, huh, how about that? We haven't even asked Janice to come and speak to our group. And you guys, I see this happen all the time. So it absolutely works both ways, but we really need to take time to genuinely show appreciation for the people that are on our team, of course, but also the people that you are learning the most from wherever they are. And make sure that you thank them, and it's okay to do that publicly every now and then. Just make sure it's genuine and it's sincere. And I think that would be wildly beneficial. Number 4, this is actually my favorite and probably most important thing that I love about cross-line relationships and why they're so important. They ease the workload. Okay, you guys, you do not have to carry the burdens of the world on your own shoulders. And anybody who thinks that they're going to build to diamond alone, you're just crazy. You got to bring the whole village together and harness the power of everybody's talents. So, when we started sharing classes in the fall and the winter of 2012 and 2013 and well into 2014 and 15, this was when we were having classes weekly at the coffee shop here in West Des Moines, and we would rotate who was teaching. So this is the magic that I want to just put this out there in case any of you have not thought about this or just haven't had time to bring this idea to fruition. Let me paint a picture of what this looked like. There was a season where we were offering classes every single Monday night, and on the first Tuesday of every month, we had a business meeting. So for one person to take responsibility of teaching all 5 of those classes, that would have been exhausting. Not impossible, but it would have been exhausting. And so what we did was that we shared each week, one of us would take a turn teaching. So the most that anybody ever had to do was 2 classes a month. And more often than not, it was 1 class a month. And then we would all collaborate on the business meeting and kind of work together on that. Now, unfortunately, as you have noticed, I'm using past tense. Things change. And the coffee shop is no longer available to us. It's actually in the process of turning into a used bookstore right now. And so that's not at our disposal. Britta has continued to do an amazing job of making sure that there were business classes, and she's offering a lot of product classes. And I want everybody to know that lives in the Des Moines area, at least, that those classes are always open to everybody. So keep your ears open for what's coming up next, because you are all welcome to come to those. But let's think about where you live and who you might be able to join forces with to create a shared workload, okay? And maybe you start out in a home. I think that's fine. That's actually where I gained the most traction, was right upstairs, having classes in my living room. And I would just welcome, 3 or 4 or 5 people. They weren't gigantic classes. But honestly, I didn't want gigantic because it's hard to have that personal connection if you've got 10 or 15 people, I really liked it when it was 3 or 4 or 5 people. And honestly, I could usually enroll about 90%. And I'm totally okay with having 4 or 5 people and enrolling 90% every night, versus having 10 or 15 and letting 9 of them slip out the door because there was too big of a wait after the class was over. So I think that's totally fine. You just need to schedule a few more if you have bigger goals and you want to reach more people. But I would definitely think about who is in your group or your area, crossline or up or down, whichever, that you really love working with. Now, I know there's a beautiful crossline relationship that's happening in the Nevada and the Ames area, and there's a lot of leaders up there that are collaborating. Janice, am I right? It's third Thursday. Is that right? Okay. So on the third Thursday of every month in Ames, they have a class. They share who the speakers are going to be. Oftentimes they will invite someone else to come in, but those are always open to anybody. So what I want you to know, and I just want to try to cast that vision, is that what we started in West Des Moines was simply a grassroots effort. And that can be created anywhere. Okay, so all of you are able to do that, and it will be incredibly beneficial if you do it. You send signs to your friends when you set a schedule, and you share that publicly. You let your friends know that you're serious about building this, and that this is not like a Tupperware party where you throw one, once or twice a year, have all your friends come, and then you're done. This isn't like that. We need to communicate that message that we are in this for the long haul, and this is our profession, be it full-time or part-time. You can even do it as a hobby, but still do it seriously, okay? So if you have questions about networking with others in your area or how you can get that started, do not hesitate to reach out. We would love to visit with you about that. We can start a conversation on the Heroes page or on the Abundance page, whichever group you're part of, and start tossing around some ideas. We can even do it right here on the Thursday Night Live page if you would like. Okay. Number 5, the 5th reason that I love cross-line relationships. This one is kind of personal, and the reason is everybody needs somebody to vent to. Okay? Now, that might sound silly, and I'm not suggesting that there's always stuff that you have to, talk about, but when you need a sympathetic ear, when you need somebody to talk to, maybe you're going through a frustrating time, or maybe you just have a question and it pertains to your team or it pertains to your upline, maybe you need to go to somebody crossline and just say, okay, I'm stumped here. What do I do? What would you do? Periodically, it's really, really helpful to have a neutral party to bounce that off of. And so one of my favorite opportunities to make really great cross-line acquaintances has been at convention and at some of our retreats, the silver retreat and the gold retreat and the platinum retreat. You guys, when you make those friends, they are friends for life. And it is so rewarding, especially since Young Living, building this business, it's a little bit unique. It's unique because not everybody in the world understands what it takes. So it's neat to be able to talk to somebody that you have met but isn't directly above or below you, because they understand what you're in, and they don't necessarily need to know the people involved, but they understand the pieces of the puzzle. And you can talk about, your joys, your concerns, your frustrations, any of that, and they truly do get it. So that's a good reason. And finally, the 6th reason that I think it's really beneficial to foster cross-line relationships is simply because it is fun. There is nothing better than expanding your social circle, expanding the friendships that you have. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and there was a study done recently, and they tracked how many close friendships people had in 1990. They surveyed thousands of people, and the result then was about 3.8 very, very close friends. And then they surveyed them again. The end of the study was in 2016, and it was cut in about half. So it was down to about 1.4 very close friends. Now, we could spend all night discussing why that is. Society has changed a lot since the 90s, but the truth of the matter is we still need friendships, and we need real friends that we can meet with in person. We need friends we can talk to on the phone, friends we can talk to on Facebook. But those cross-line friends, they're just a blast. It's just super fun, and truly, this is a unique business because for those that are building and growing, you know exactly where you're headed. And I love being able to get together with some of my cross-line buddies that I met at Silver Retreat and at Gold Retreat. And we know that when we are all Royal Crown Diamond, and even before then, we know that one of the things we're going to look forward to is just being able to take our families on vacations together, and how much fun that will be. So that's a little different than, working at the grocery store together, because you don't necessarily share that common vision that, hey, if we just put in 5 more years at the grocery store, we're all going to be able to party together. It might not have the same futuristic ending there. But I do think my cross-line relationships in this business are unlike any friendships that I've had. And I am so grateful. I think, honestly, and I've said this to a few people, I don't know if we've talked about it on Thursday Night Live before, but if there were a way for us to market all of the extra benefits of Young Living. So we talk about the health and wellness, we talk about the opportunities for personal development, and those are substantial reasons to build a business. And of course, the financial side of growing a business is huge. But you guys, if there were a way for us to truly market this social aspect, the friendship and the fun and the support and the network, I think that people would honestly sign up for Young Living as members strictly to be able to experience what it's like to be in this family. So don't ever underestimate what that might mean to people. I bet every single one of us knows people that are lonely, that are looking for just relationship, just, kindred spirits who want to connect. And so I don't think it's not too much when we're talking about the benefits of Young Living to let them know that that's one of your favorite parts, if it is. But I know I definitely get quite an emotional high when we have events and we have classes and I'm able to get together with you. That's one of my favorite parts. So figuring out how to market that, I think, is really, really important. So let's recap those 6, and then I have just a couple of cautionary statements, okay, at the end. So the first one was cross-line relationships help generate new ideas. The second one creates accountability. The third one was the magic of edification. The fourth reason I love cross-line relationships is because it eases the workload. The fifth one, it gives you someone to vent to, or a sympathetic ear. And sixth, it's fun. Okay, so those are all of the pros, and the pros definitely outweigh anything else. But there's a couple of things I want to just remind you of. Number one, it's very important that you know who you're working with and that you build trust with them, okay? So the same as any other relationship, but take time to get to know them. Make sure that as you are sharing and doing things together, that you have both created a safe space, okay? And by that, I mean, you know, if you're doing events together, which is awesome, you need to have a professional and proactive conversation about what does it look like if new prospects come to the class and they haven't talked to anybody about Young Living, they just magically appeared, who would enroll them? And that's why I go back to that first one. You've got to build trust, and you've got to know who you're working with, because it's totally okay to have that conversation in a safe space ahead of time. But you don't want to be working with somebody who goes totally, you know, rogue and says, oh, no way, anybody that walks in the door, they're mine. That would be weird, right? So just make sure that you're proactive and you have those conversations ahead of time. The last tip, and this generally is not a problem, although I have seen it happen, is be careful that you don't do more for other teams than you do for your own. So here's the background of this. Sometimes it's tempting and it's so flattering when you're asked to come and speak or you're asked to come and do a class. It feels amazing because other groups take care of you and they edify you, exactly what we talked about before, in good ways. But if you get an emotional high off that, and that's all that you want to do, okay? If I said, Heather, I want to come and speak to your group this month, and Britta, I want to come and speak to your group next month, and Bobby, I'm going to come and speak to your group, and then I'm going to fly to Texas, and I'm going to talk to Jenny McMillan's group. You can see that if that's where I put all of my energy, there would be nothing left for my own group. And that just doesn't make good business sense, right? So there's a healthy balance, but you need to take care of things on the home front first. And by all means, build in time for other teams, but just make sure that you've got your priorities straight, okay? Because you've got your own things to tend to first. So that's kind of the wrap for tonight. I hope and I pray that you are currently realizing the benefits of cross-line relationships. And I hope that as you grow in your business, that you will continue to build those friendships that will be a double blessing, both to you and to your friend. So thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you next week on Thursday Night Live.